This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
I want to see what Bob, so how long's Bob been out there? We'll find out, but kind of like I always like to know, Phil, whenever you travel to the games, how is the atmosphere, the fans out there? Are they showing up right before the game, or are they there like we talked about earlier, Phil? Are they making an event out of it, making it a 3-day deal?
We've been asking who your starting lineup's going to be. Text out of the 501 says AB, Devo, Kamani, Mackay, and Ricky. That's Gunner from Little Rock.
I like that. That's an okay. I like that. If you match up, if they're starting two bigs, if that's what they're going to do. You like that, Phil?
I still don't know if you change too much from what you've had.
I
understand the idea of starting the two bigs. But if you're going to try to set the pace and everything and push the ball and the opportunities to do that, maybe Nick Smith, maybe Nick starting again. Maybe he can't push it though. I don't know. Maybe there's something up at that knee. All right, we got Bob here with us here. Hey, Bob, how's Vegas treating you?
Oh, it's a lot warmer than Des Moines, which is nice.
No snow on the ground this time, huh?
No, it's not super warm. I think the high's been around 60. But yeah, but very, very pleasant. Apparently it just rained when we got here Tuesday, but I don't think it's rained since I've been here. So, but no, I've been out here. The first time I was ever out here was for the 2000 Vegas Bowl, and been out here a couple other times on vacation in the summer when it was really, really hot. So walking around last night, it was kind of pleasant. You had a windbreaker, and it was probably in the 50s or something. So that was pretty pleasant, actually.
You detecting more Arkansas fans or more UConn fans?
I have not seen any UConn fans. Of course, I haven't been everywhere, but just walking around, the streets, seeing quite a few Arkansas fans. Of course, obviously, UConn's way on the other side of the country on the East Coast. I'm sure they'll have some fans here, but I would just assume UCLA and Gonzaga would have the most fans because this is kind of their territory in the Pac-12, and I think the West Coast Conference both play their conference tournaments here, so their fans would be used to being here, and they're the 2 and 3 seeds. But I'm sure Arkansas will have a good contingent here.
You had the first question yesterday to Muss, and this leads to our conversation. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. We opened up a bit about it today, who your starting lineup is going to be. Nick has started the first 2 games, and I don't know if you change the starting lineup very much just because you've at least won these first 2 games. I know Nick hasn't played very well, frankly, in the tournament just yet. You asked Muss about Nick Smith yesterday, and, based on the answer you got and on your understanding of this team and of the coach and of the player we're talking about, do you think Nick Smith starts today?
Yeah, I think he'll start tonight. One, he's used to starting, right? And I know he came off the bench a little bit when he was first coming back from the injuries, but he's a starter. And I think if you don't start him, it's kind of a sign that, and I know Jordan Walsh doesn't start, and he's played a ton of minutes and really played well. And, their games Ricky Council hadn't started, and he's played well off the bench. But, to me, you start Nick Smith because he's a starter. I think you want to get him going, and I think you want to show him you have a lot of confidence in him still, even though, his last couple of games have been very atypical from an offensive standpoint.
Yeah, I think you start Nick. Bob, when you're looking at their bigs and Donovan and is it Adama, if I'm saying his name right, I think he might be the best big, like just post-player big, because Sheway does a couple different things. They do a couple different they're not the same player, but just offensively gifted with his moves. This might be our biggest challenge as far as bigs go.
Yeah, Kamani Johnson the day compared to, I think it's Adama, but I'm not positive actually.
Adama, that's it. That's right, yeah. Adama.
Yeah. But anyway, Kamani said he was kind of Oscar-like, meaning Oscar Sheway, the Kentucky big.
He's big in body type like that. I think Adama has better offensive moves, though. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 6'9", or at least listed 6'9", 260. So he's a load down there. And he had great stats against Iona and St. Mary's, and those teams aren't as talented as Arkansas. Certainly Iona isn't, but and St. Mary's is kind of
they tried to play him one-on-one too, Bob. Like they didn't really match up, or they didn't send a double team a lot. What I saw, which I kind of thought that was weird.
Yeah, I think he's a guy you're going to have to get some double teams, maybe come at him from different angles, not always the same, to mix it up and maybe try to confuse him or at least not let him know exactly what you're doing. But yeah, to me, what makes UConn such a tough challenge is you got Sanogo, if I'm saying his name right, Adama Sanogo, the big guy. I mean, he's a load. And they've got a 7'2" freshman off the bench. He doesn't play a ton of minutes, Klangen, and he's averaging like over 7 points, about 6 boards, 2 block shots in just 13 minutes. Eric Musselman said he thought they were the best combo centers in the country. And then they, led by Jordan Hawkins, they're a very good three-point shooting team. They shoot about 36%, a little over 36%. So Arkansas somehow has got to find a way to be out there on the perimeter and not giving open looks to threes, but also protect the paint. So that's one of the reasons UConn's in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2014. Has won 8 out of 9 and went 13-7 in the Big East. They're a very tough team to guard because they have a good inside and outside game.
Well, and you want to try to get Sanogo off the court. He's neither of these guys will foul a little bit, but it's so much easier to say, well, we got to get the bigs in foul trouble.
You got to get them tired first, Phil. You know what you're saying. You run them up and down, then they kind of make silly fouls. Yeah.
So the ability to push the ball early in this game seems like it'd be pretty important for Arkansas today.
Yeah, and that's maybe one reason why maybe start a little smaller line. But of course, even with Arkansas's guards, I mean, Nick's 6'5" and Ricky's 6'6", and Anthony Black 6'7", so they've got some good size, even if they're playing perimeter type players. But remember last year when Arkansas beat Gonzaga in San Francisco in the Sweet 16, they got Chet Holmgren in foul trouble, and I'm trying to remember. I think he played maybe 20 minutes or less, and he just wasn't the factor he normally would have been. He ended up being, I think, the second pick in the draft, I think, and of course he got hurt, but that was a big part. So yeah, if they can, like Matt makes a great point. I think if they can get those bigs tired and get them in foul trouble maybe because they make a mistake because they're a little winded, or maybe they just got to come out because they need a break. That would be huge, obviously.
Yeah, I think we're more athletic just with our backcourt. And I'm not saying UConn's a blue blood program. They're going to have studs. They're going to have blue chippers. But as far as our guards go, we're going to have to control the pace and control the tempo and keep attacking, Bob. I think we sometimes this team they get down a little bit and they wait till the shot clock gets going late and then they throw up a three. We can't play like that. We're not going to have any success.
No, I think you're right. They not that they need to take some open threes, but they need to really attack the basket. That's a way to get UConn in foul trouble. That's a way, obviously, to get points. And they need to get when they get to the line, they need to cash in on their free throws, which they did a really good job of. Illinois and Kansas. It obviously shows they're capable. Maybe those texts between Eric Musselman and John Daly are helping out. Maybe John's got some good examples. I don't know.
How much do you think? Bob, that it's kind of the veterans, Devo and Ricky, that it helps kind of their mindset where they were able to make the free throws, like the game meant a little more, so they kind of focused a little more?
I don't know. Ricky's been a good free throw shooter for most of the year, and then he just, not that he shot terribly, but he might have a game where he goes 3 of 6. He's about an 8% free throw shooter. Same with Devo. You remember the loss at A&M? He missed some and ones and some free throws normally you wouldn't. Maybe they're a little fresher. When they had a long break between the SEC tournament when they played Illinois, and they turned around and played KU very quickly, and then they've obviously had a week to get ready for this game. So yeah, I mean, I think those are veteran guys. They're used to pressure. I mean, Devo just played at such a high level, attacking and making free throws, getting rebounds, really doing everything. And when he fouled out, you got to get. Eric Musselman mentioned this. Nick Smith went back in and played good defense those last couple of minutes in a really tight, high pressure game. So, maybe that'll help Nick out a little bit, just getting in at the end of that game and helping Arkansas hang on to win.
I feel like Devo's legacy is secure no matter what happens in this game. I mean, his post game interview Saturday, I think, is one of the more viral moments, for lack of a better term. It's just because that's how things kind of explode right now. But man, if you can be the lone player on a team that's been to 3 Elite Eights in a row, I mean that's rarefied air. Were there any other Arkansas teams that have gotten that far in the tournament 3 years in a row? I mean, you have the back-to-back Final Four and national title with runner up, but I feel like Devo's got a pretty unique place in Razorback lore. Being that early in the tenure of Eric Musselman, being a kid from Central Arkansas. His personality is a little bit different. His legacy is secure, but man, it can go somewhere. It can go to another level with a win tonight.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up. Of course, Carlson Scotty made 3 straight Sweet 16s. They went to the Sweet 16 as freshmen, won it all as sophomores, got back to the title game as juniors. As far as 3 straight Elite Eights, if Arkansas could win tonight, that's probably a question for Hogstats. I hadn't thought about that. Lee Mayberry and Todd Day and Oliver Miller as freshmen, they went to the second round, got beat by Louisville. Then they went to the Final Four. Then they got back to the Elite Eight. And the next year, seniors, they got upset in the second round by Memphis. So, I don't know. That's a good question. But yeah, Devo certainly, he's always been a good player. And he really came on late in his freshman year. Hit the big shot against Oral Roberts to get Arkansas to that Elite Eight matchup against Baylor. And I think his career average is probably around 9-10 points, and I think he's averaged about 13 in NCAA tournament games, and had just a monster game the other day. He's shooting about 50% in NCAA tournament games. We're talking 10 games, multiple games. So he's been really clutch for sure.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games right through the Final Four and the championship game. BetOnline is where your college basketball headquarters are this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts.